From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. They are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And today's no exception. Nicholas, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me on this fine Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening? Tuesday?
I think we're Wednesday. Yeah. No, we're Wednesday.
No,
it's Tuesday.
Motherfucker.
Great start, mate. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, I just came back from the gym. I've been doing these deadlifts, and I tell you what, I've pulled a muscle on my ass, and it fucking kills. Excuse my language, but I've targeted a muscle that I never thought I had. Top of my ass, it kills. I'm not joking. I was like limping here, man. So yeah, but nevertheless, let's talk some conspiracy theories. And yeah, thanks for having me on. As always.
No, it's all right, mate. You had an idea of what you wanted to talk about tonight, which was good because it is summer holidays, which means that the precious fucking seconds that I have to myself have been sucked out of my fucking tiny little hands. I'm not being silly. I haven't got tiny hands. We know who's got tiny hands. I've got big old manly hands. So you wanted to get into something for after listening to the show I did yesterday with the Grumble and Grunts, which was really good fun. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it was a great show. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, very good viewpoints on what's really going on at the moment. And there's one thing that caught my eye as I was at the gym listening. It's the fact that I think our community, the alternative movement, the truth movement, whatever you want to call it, has been infiltrated by, you can point at every avenues, it's them. It's, the three-letter agencies basically pushing information and then spreading misinformation, but proclaiming it to actually be true. Yeah. And I'm finding a lot. I mean, for instance, chemtrails. I'm finding a lot of misinformation coming on that sort of subject. It's pushing people down an avenue where they're actually sort of seeing stripes in the sky, the lines, and they're going, "Oh no, that's toxic poison." It's like, well, hold on. If you just do a bit of research, you can find these clouds. Well, these actually like water vapor going back for like decades. But there is this campaign of fear. And remember what I said last time, Lee, that the fact that being a conspiracy theorist, you're living in a state of fear. And what was a really good point, I can't remember what the guy's name was. Please remind me. Lee.
It was Elliot and why did you do that to? Was it Elliot and John?
Elliot and John. Yes, that's it. Yeah, I do apologize. I forgot your name. But the fact that there is a time in your life where you got to go, okay, let's just unplug a bit, take a step back. But at the same time, like with you've got to rely on a podcast. So you need to find that information. You need to find the latest updates.
Oh, you got to be in.
You got to be in it. Yeah, yeah.
You're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to be wrong, I think. But you can't be uninformed. Do you know what I mean? You might end up saying the wrong thing or going down the wrong fucking avenue or something with something. But to walk on and go, I have no idea what fucking Israel where, it's just doesn't it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So I think my opinion, being in the alternative movement for since 2007,
Mm-hmm.
you're going like 18 years, nearly 20 years, a long period of time. So you learn to adjust, and for me now, being 35 years old and really taking a step back and look at the community at whole, I think we have to be very careful what information. Doesn't matter if you're looking at UFOs, general conspiracies, vaccine stuff. Just be really careful. And for me, I just think the whole movement has just been infiltrated, and it has been in a part of a state of fear. Because, like I said, being a conspiracy theorist is living in fear, basically. So, who, what, and why? I think that was a good point that the boys made yesterday. Is like, why are they doing this? I think it's to split the community, because they're not like, for instance, UFOs. That community has been split apart unbelievably.
Oh, it's fractured like nothing else I've ever seen. Like
exactly,
incredible what's happened to that, and it was fractured and then it was used. Do you know what I mean? So you got people coming in, and then it's been. I don't even know for what means. Just like to what, to create headlines. That's the real problem for me with the UFO stuff. Is I know, because you had for those people, hopefully that anyone listening to this podcast like by now has like at least a basic knowledge of like the key players and stuff like that. So, but when you've got like Lou Elizondo, who came in as like one of the real like spearheads of this modern disclosure movement, when he's on an interview saying, I'm not a ufologist, in fact, I want to destroy ufology, or something to that matter, you should probably listen to that. You should probably pay attention. Exactly. And I think it's like, we haven't mentioned the guy. Like, I'm not a great fan of myself. I'm not a huge fan of his, although I think my part, I feel sorry for him. I think he just doesn't like me, which is the Lou reviews. Lou Elizondo made that man lose his fucking mind.
Oh, tell me about it. He's done his job perfectly. Because I remember Lou, he was like me and you. He was happy to talk about UFO sightings, general conspiracies.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I missed the first show he came on to do with Ollie. I missed that show. I can't remember who was on. Were you on that with Ollie and Lou?
No, that was before my time.
Was it before you? Yeah, I can't remember. I missed it. I couldn't do it for some reason, and then I watched it back. I thought, oh, this is really cool, because I quite liked his mate, the Rather Be Squidding guy, and I thought I enjoyed it. And then the next one, when I went on, I found Lou like this. It feels like I'm speaking about a different person now, but I found him perfectly reasonable, like a perfectly reasonable man. I think maybe he probably should have got a size up in white shirt, but apart from that, perfectly reasonable. But now, like, the guys, I just don't know.
You don't watch his content. Basically, he hasn't uploaded anything in months. For me, as a UFO researcher, and I look at both avenues, skeptics and believers, and trust me, I look at the skeptics. I'd be happy to delve into that. I'm always happy to be proven wrong. There's one thing as a researcher and a more mature researcher, I'm put my hand up and says, do you know what? Sometimes I'm going to be wrong. Like, I took a video footage of a flying orb over my house, and it turned out to be the International Space Station. But I was happy to correct myself, because I did the research to prove that. So I think now we've got to be really careful with the people involved. Like Lou Elizondo, he says he's not a ufologist. He's a counter espionage, counterinsurgents intelligence, basically. So he's there a born liar. He's been caught not twice, but 3 times showing fake photographs. And I think it's really important to learn from people's mistakes. Okay. Heini Musan, Stephen Greer, Lou Elizondo, they've always been caught out doing something that should be questionable. So hold on, let's take a step back. You're making a lot of claims, like, for instance, like the boogosphere. My God, I mean, that's just That's the most fakest and gayest thing I've ever heard. I mean, I looked into that, and it's just like absolutely, it's hilariously bad.
I mean, I've looked into it. I want, don't get me wrong, I want it to be real. I think the I think the video is quite compelling. You know, the video of like the silver orb in the sky.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
that's really interesting. I
Sure.
only purely for the fact that it does seem to be a 3-dimensional object in the sky, and I'm unsure how you fake that because it seems to have distance.
I understand. Have you seen a debunk for it recently?
I haven't seen the debunk of the. But to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen any of the debunks of that. It's to me the hand carved nature of that ball was always an issue. Sorry, I have seen some of the debunks because one of the other debunks was also that it was some sort of fuel cell or something like that.
No, this is
the
you can
ball.
actually you can see the fishing wire. Actually, if you slow down
Oh,
the
okay.
frames, you can actually see the reflection of the fishing wire. And so many people go, no, 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 it's just reflection. It's like, no, if you look through like fake photographs of UFO sightings that had fishing wire, it's exactly the same. It's most likely they actually had attached to a drone with a fishing wire going all the way down long enough because that you can control the speed of the drone. And someone actually did a proper analysis into it and did their own test, basically with not like the booger sphere exactly, but the sort of same sort of capacity. And you can, in fact, if you would put a fishing wire to the drone itself and you fly that thing about, it looks exactly the same, Lee. And this is
interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. But the thing is,
I'll see my one thing though is because you've had congressmen go in to see that thing. That's really weird. That's a thing. And like I can't remember the congressman's name that went to see it, but like he was, you know, he was kind of turned on to it. Wasn't like, you know, you have to go and see this. Same as the alien mummies. Like he said, you know, he was sent down to look at those as well.
Yeah, I think why are the officials looking into these cases and where you need to look at the background of these people? Look, Haile Masani has been caught so many times faking stuff over the past 30 years. Remember the cult that killed themselves? What was it? The Heaven's Gate cult?
Heaven's Gate, yeah.
Yeah, basically Haile Masani is the one that said that was a UFO behind the comet. He's the one that started all that. And it's just going back to the 80s. And he's been caught consistently over the years faking stuff. I watched a documentary where they had a really good photograph of a flying saucer in the sky. And it was taken by his nephew, Haile Masani's nephew. And through a deep analysis, you can see that the photograph actually, well, the picture of the UFO itself was actually cut out because you can see the square mark where it's been copy and pasted. And then he was confronted, Haile Masani, and said, look, we've actually found out that you faked this. And he's like, no, you don't understand. It's like, no, you've been caught out once again. But now I'm supposed to go, no, he's got this one right this time. It's like, no, I'm sorry. He's been caught out so many times. We need to, even like with Stephen Greer as well, he's been saying so many wacky stuff. It's like the podcast yesterday that we mentioned, and the fact that, you know, he said so many good points. He does make good points, but at the same time, it's like the teleportation of like wine glasses or something like that. You know, the CE5, it gets a bit wacky, and that sort of concept doesn't really help ufology. And look at the people involved.
I mean, yeah, right. Right. I think Greer's full of shit. I've thought Green's full of shit for a long time. However, I'm not convinced that group meditation can't affect the physical world in certain ways.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm sure.
That's kind of all he's doing with CE5 is taking something else that might have some validity to it and then appropriating it into his fucking, like, his regime. The Jaime Maussan thing. So where do you stand on the bodies, the petrified bodies? Because especially the tall ones, those I think those tall ones are creatures.
In my opinion, looking through the actual X-rays, especially the bone structures, it doesn't add up. Nothing links together. It's very gappy, especially like the small ones. And now you're talking about the big ones here, and I have to admit, it looks quite compelling. But the thing is what's making this whole scenario real is that the fact that the 3D imaging, the 3D imagery, I should say, is that the fact that it's making these alien mummies look real, like it's actually got flesh.
Mhm.
And that's what I noticed is like, look, it's actually real flesh. It's like, no, you've made it look like that to make it. That's just
Yeah,
my
but
opinion.
you've got when they go into the bones and stuff like that, there are like like what's the right words, like small holes in it. Seem to
Yeah.
suggest some sort of bone density. The see the thing, I know what you mean about the fact that it's all very gappy. I get that. Interesting thing I didn't realize up until this year was my father threw himself down a set of stairs not so long ago, and he dislocated his shoulder quite badly. It was like I thought he broke his collarbone, and there he had to go in and get his shoulder put back in. But when the doctor was putting his shoulder back in, he was explaining to me that like it's one of the worst things to put out, because there isn't actually like a ball. It's not like a ball and socket. It's like your arm that's held there by like strap muscle over there, muscle underneath, muscle on the surrounding thing.
Yeah.
I can see no reason why, if that was a real animal, that you couldn't have some like its physical form just isn't. It's not ball sockets. It's more like shoulder joints.
The thing is, you don't know what an alien looks like. Does it have the same joints? And
Absolutely
like you said,
not. No, you're right.
Absolutely not. This is it. I think for me to believe but that these aliens are real was to have more scientific analysis. Look, I can't really
That's
rely
fair.
on the Mexican university. We need top quality university people around the world, scientists, to really look into this and actually, but they're not going to do it.
So,
which is weird, isn't it? If we're dealing with an extraterrestrial there.
It is, but like, and I'm not saying this about you. I'm not going all progressive on you. But I've noticed that a little bit when it comes to those alien mummies, and I can only think that there is. I don't want to say this, and I don't want to use the words, but here we go. That there is a veiled, internalized racism when it comes to that, because it's like we couldn't possibly trust a Mexican university. Do they have universities? Do they have stairs, or is it like tents? Do they teach in tents? Do you know? But I think I'm not necessarily saying that's what you're saying, but I think there is a lot of that. I think there's a lot of like, hang on, can we not just like get this to a different university? By a different university, a white one.
No, it's not like, I mean, like, I don't trust the Mexican universities. I'm sure they're well established, but if you want to look at like Harvard and what's another one in America, these big institutions, I think that's fine because they've got a more scientific, I mean that loosely, status. So if you've got them going around and actually do an analysis and then put it to the public, and then the public can make it their own mind. But honestly, Lee, the public are so distracted by technology, gadgets, and gizmos.
Would we not say though that when it comes to universities like Harvard and like museums, like what's the one which hiding all the stuff in the basement? Forgot the name.
Oh, that's not the Vatican, is it?
No, the American Museum.
Oh, National Museum, but it's probably some sort of national museum.
I can't remember. There's another word, and I can't believe my fucking mind's gone blank on it. What I would be more concerned with is we're saying, well, why can't we test these in a more like scientifically backed university? Would these be the universities that have been completely overrun by progressive politics that can't even work out what a male and female is anymore?
Because it's a really good point. It's too mainstream.
It's too mainstream. I wouldn't even use the word mainstream. I'd use the word indoctrinated, and if not like controlled.
Yes, very much. Because you think these universities have to stick down the avenue. For instance, climate change. Every single scientist that says, "Oh, climate change is real," they are getting funded by some sort of institution, some sort of government, or Bill Gates or something like that. They have to stick because it's an agenda. This is it. So actually, you make a really good point on that one. The fact that if we do have, for instance, Harvard, very left progressive, indoctrinated sort of mindset. They live in an echo chamber when you look at it because they're taught science in one avenue and not to look out somewhere else, basically. I think very close-minded these people are because, like I said, they don't know what bathroom to use, let alone know what fucking gender they are. I can't believe we're at this stage now. Like, it's like I was explaining it to my nan. She was going, "Hey, she's 89. I had to explain this stuff." And she's like, "Nan, this is what it is." I had to show videos of it to prove. And she's like, "You've got to be joking." I'm like, "No, this is welcome to 2025, But if you look at that sort of universities, I mean, flipping out, you're going to get the sort of woke mob. Don't put people in demographics, but my God, you can't help but put these people in demographics because they're just fucking borderline weird. I say very, very narrow mindset. So again, until there's further analysis into these Nazca mummies, I'm just 50. I'm 50-50. I'm open-minded, but I'm not going to debunk it straight away. But we're dealing with Jaime Maussan here and the Mexican University.
Did Jaime wield like the little like cake looking motherfuckers out?
I remember that. Yeah.
He actually anything to do with the large ones?
That I'm not too sure. I've sort of held off until there was like further information, but again, as soon as I looked at these mummies, like, oh, this is clearly fake because of the people involved and the backtrack of these people. I've just, even like the Burgersphere, I've talked about it, but the more you look into it, you think, oh, it's just a complete clown show. It's like it's clearly an agenda and very typical Jaime Maussan. Remember, guys, ufology is a business, is an industry, and entertainment. And fucking Jaime Maussan takes off all three of those things. Do you understand what I mean?
I think it's absolutely fair. Yeah, absolutely fair.
It's another scam which has been going on for fucking decades, guys. I look into the history of ufology. I've got, for people here don't know, I've got backtrack of records of like magazines, publications, dating ufology for the past 80 years. It's the same thing. You will get fake people making up stories and have some sort of evidence, and then unfortunately the people in ufology in the community just run with it and it just popularize anything on the internet, and it goes mainstream, like the pyramids, for instance, the structures underneath the pyramids. And in fact, I will do my godsend to get Graham Hancock on the show. Trust me, I will do. I know I've been saying it for 2 years, but he's been away in Iraq and Turkey.
Busy guy.
He's been so busy, and he's writing a new book at the moment. So he's more settled now. I saw him last week. So, like, for instance, the pyramids and the structures underneath that.
Have you spoken to Graham about the about those, like, whatever we'll call it LiDAR, because I can't remember what it is. I know it's not LiDAR.
Yeah,
have you spoken to him about it?
I did. He's still 50-50 on the matter because for instance, he was saying that the LiDAR can't really go down that far down. So the picture that's been created is more or less added AI into it. This is what makes me a bit skeptical about the whole thing, because it's added AI into this sort of imaging.
But realistically, I mean, what else?
What else could it be?
But what else is a scan? Do you know what I mean? If you send sonar into the ground, let's say, and the sonar comes back, it hits something, then we create, and you could argue that whatever program we're using is an artificial intelligence. So we're taking ones and zeros and we're turning it into an image. I'm unsure what the difference is. I think there's one of the real problems I've got with this, with the whole AI movement at the moment. I do think there's a lot of wild stuff when it comes to artificial intelligence. But I think a lot of just advanced computing is being called AI when it's not. At least my definition of AI.
Right. So 10 years ago, it wouldn't be called AI. It would be called something else. That it wasn't really referred to AI. Yeah. Okay. I understand that. I think it's like a buzzword that people are using, isn't it? Yeah.
Very much in the way that as soon as the first, like in the early 2000s, when like the iPod came out, and the iPhone came out, and then all of a sudden it was like your toaster was like the eye kettle, and like everything had an eye in front of it.
Yeah,
I think there's
yeah.
we're very much in that situation with AI where everything is claiming to be like AI fucking powered, and you're like, these are shoes, mate. How are my shoes AI powered?
Yeah, you make a very good point actually when you look at it. Yeah, I think for the time being, he said he wants to hold off until there's more further analysis into it. I know there was another presentation not long ago that might have been
Yeah, listen,
before
that one was in
Graham.
English. That was really interesting. Apart from
Okay.
the fact that there was one like I'd argue late 40s, early 50s, like Egyptian history bro in like the front of the audience. I was watching when it came to question. I'm like, motherfucker, let other people ask a question. This is not a private dinner date you're on with these guys. But yeah, no, I find it really interesting. I think maybe I find it more interesting because, like I was saying to the grunts yesterday about the pyramid code I read. Like I said, I'm sure it was called the pyramid code. That, although what on the surface is just a really iffily written, like wild book, it's fucking so bang on with what they've like took scans of. Like these are like chambers going down to like a large square chamber, and then it's in the book it said that this is where the creators of the pyramids stored all of the technology that they needed to build what they built.
Wow. I've always had the impression that the Egyptians inherited the pyramids. In fact, it was a lot longer.
But I don't mean the Egyptians. I mean whoever built the pyramids.
Right,
They
gotcha,
stored
gotcha.
that stuff down there.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of it's like these steps that was made out of stone and it's actually melted. And if you've ever seen anything like that, it's just I want to know what this technology is. In fact, Jay Anderson, a really good person to get on the show for you guys. Honestly, he's been into Egypt.
I've reached out to Jay before. We didn't get a shout back from him. I'd love to get him on. We'd love to sit down and talk to the guy.
Yeah, he's in Egypt at the moment, and he showed these stones, and you can see where it's been cut out, like halfway cut out, and it looks like something like an angle grinder would use, like a absolute precision. I can't even speak. Precise straight line. Sorry, 420 before the show. I'll have to relax a little bit, but yeah, but yeah, it's just there's some sort of technology there, like we're using today, but we can't find it. Like this is it. We cannot find, and like. Don't tell me that a bloody chisel can do that. You know, it's just absolutely ludicrous. You know, I understand, for instance, the melted stone steps. Some sort of chemical could have been used, but what did they use back in the day? This is it. I think
lemon juice. How many lemons did that take?
Yeah, but in terms of the pyramids, that is a never-ending question, and I think now it just more questions get asked to it, and it's just we're running around with our like headless chickens trying to find out what is the answers. And I don't think we're ever going to find it. It's more questions than actually answers at the moment.
Do you know why I think there's some validity to the to those scans that those we'll say scientists, fucking archaeologists, whatever they are, yeah.
Sure.
The reason I think there's some validity to them is because mainstream Egyptology went into full on fucking like we need to sort this shit down, including that retard going on Joe Rogan. What was his name?
Oh, what his name? Just call him dickhead. I tell you what, I'm so glad he went on Joe Rogan because it's showing the public where mainstream archaeologists are stuck down one avenue and just the arrogance of the guy and thinking this is the people that are telling school children about Egypt, and I think it's led down a path. I mean, it's people like him that more or less spread information, and I just don't like people that come along and go, "I'm right, you're wrong." It's like, no, hold on, just learn to accept that you might get things wrong, because everyone finds out new information. That I mean, like the structure of the pyramids underneath.
Zaire Hawass.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, we'll just call him Twatwell for time being.
Do you want to know how I found his name? What the easiest way to search his name was? Worst Joe Rogan podcast ever is what I googled.
Oh, really? Well, that's a quotation from Joe himself.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to that. That's an absolute total embarrassment. And the thing is people like him, whoever his name is, it's making people like me and you going, oh, this guy's a complete clown. It's obviously stuck down one mindset because he's getting paid by universities, some sort of government, some sort of institution to say one thing because he's, like I said, it's all mainstream. You have to stick down an echo chamber.
Well, like you just said before about climate change, for instance, I think any like climate change zealot out there, which is like, especially someone which would espouse like, 95% of the scientists agree.
Who are these scientists?
yeah, exactly. You don't know who they are. You've not read a single paper that any of these people have put out.
Mate,
it's ridiculous. But what I was going to say was,
Sorry.
anyone that is in that fucking realm should watch that podcast that Zaire did with Rogan, and then apply the fact that you've got a cage fight commentating comedian podcaster that destroys like the head of Egyptian antiquities. So you just take that and then apply it to all the other sciences, because if somebody in that position can be so ignorant and so fucking, I would say, corrupted, then it doesn't matter whether we're talking about vaccinology. It doesn't matter if we're talking about climatology. It doesn't matter if we're talking about fucking like cancer treatments. If he can be fucking so obviously on the payroll and sticking within the Overton window that he's been given, then anybody can be.
Yeah, I think you make a good point with, like, especially climate change and the people involved. That it's the same sort of scenario with that guy we're just obviously talking about. Can't remember his name.
Zaid.
Yeah, it's called a twat waffle. It's fine. It's easier, more precise. But to be honest with you, I mean, if you look at, let's say, with climate change, what people are doing, like, they're pointing at something, going, "Oh, that's climate change." For instance, we had a heat wave. Oh, it's climate change. Your fault. It rained. Oh, it's climate change. Your fault. It's like, well, hold on a minute. It's like you're pointing at natural disasters that has happened many times before, and you're calling it climate change. The psychological operation of that. I say to these people that say that, I says, have you seen any scientific data to prove that CO2 creates climate change? No, I haven't. I says, why are you saying that? Well, the man on the TV said so. I says, well, have you? So who are these scientists? You're saying that world temperature's rising up, and you know that for a fact because you're middle aged, and somehow you know how weather works for the past 50 years. It's like, no, who are these scientists who are saying this? And they can't bloody tell you. Again, it's the same with the chemtrail community. They're pointing at something and going, that's the problem, and they have nothing to back it up with. And once you say that to people, they go, oh yeah, I kind of see your point on that.
Yeah,
but it is getting hotter, isn't it? It's like, how do you know that though?
How do you know? Yeah. I find it fucking weird, because what'll happen is you can turn around to somebody that's like fully on the climate change bandwagon and turn around and say, yeah, but we had a really cold winter last winter. Like winters, and they'll turn around and say, oh, no, well, that's not. You can't just look at like your window. You've got to look at things like larger. Then we'll have a heat wave for like 2 days where we have some sun. And it's like, see, global warming. You go, oh, you're doing the same thing I did, just the other way around. I told you it was fucking cold last week, and you're telling me it's hot this week, but your week counts and my week doesn't.
Yeah. In fact, you make a really good point there, because that same scenario that you just said, I've actually going to be uploading a chemtrail video talking exactly like that. You says you got two different camps. You got one that believes in climate change and believe in CO2 and go on these bloody protests, and you got the chemtrail community who think that the weather has been manipulated 24/7, that every single trail in the sky is toxic poison, and they're literally pointing at stuff. But these people are so-called experts who believe in like chemtrails and believe that the weather has been manipulated 24/7. They couldn't even tell you how a cloud is formed. It's like, it's just like, and you've got the other demographic, which is the Extinct Rebellion people are going along and saying, oh no, it's all to do with CO2 and it's your fault. We need to take your freedoms away. And it's like, you've got two demographics are pointing at something and have done no research at all in terms of like looking at maybe 10-second TikTok videos or YouTube videos, which doesn't help. It's not scientific, isn't it? When you look at it, where are the papers? Where are, they're saying, oh, they're spraying with toxic poisons every day. I says, well, where are the toxic poisons? Where are these aircraft? oh well, I can see it in the sky. It's like, no, it's just, where are you seeing it? Where is the documentation? You know, it's fine pointing up to a plane that's producing a trail, but is that trail actually going to block the sun? You know, how do you know it's toxic poison? You don't, you know, this is it. The amount of aircraft that travel around the sky in the world, if you look at it through Flight 24, it's millions. So you're saying that every single plane that gives off a trail is toxic poison? Are the pilots obviously be poisoning themselves? You know, there's so many questions upon questions I need to ask, but you just can't get a straight answer. So going back to, sorry,
just quickly, two points, because because I really agree with the chemtrails thing. I think there's a chance that they're doing something. I found Robert Kennedy Jr.'s statement, which everyone put down as chemtrails, quite interesting, because when he was talking about, he said, like there is stuff we need to look at that might be put in the fuel of these things, which is what I was thinking he was talking about. I think when he was talking about the health hazard of flight, he was talking about maybe the companies that make jet fuel and aircraft fuel might be cheaping out slightly and not following the guidelines that they probably should do. I don't know where I stand on chemtrails at all. I just don't know what to think about it. But what I will say about Extinction Rebellion, and I meant to bring this up last night with the grunts when we were talking, and I don't know, I think that the conversation shifted and I forgot to do it. I will always believe, and I said this when it was Extinction Rebellion first, wasn't it? Then they rebranded to like XR, so like to cool it up a little bit. Then it was just Insulate Britain.
Right.
Then it was just Stop Oil, or maybe I got those two the wrong way around. Same organization that just kept rebranding. I will always believe that group was nothing to do with climate change, and it was all to do with demonized protesting. Because because the climate change protesting, they're the ones that stopped people, because protests don't fucking matter anymore. They don't matter, because you had the like Black Lives Matter protests where the beginning of pointless protesting in the UK was people protesting for Donald Trump becoming president, which I found the most retarded thing I've ever seen. It involved a friend of mine called Kit writing the greatest tweet I've ever seen anyone write, saying incredible scenes in the UK when Donald Trump was narrowly missed by a traffic cone that was thrown a mere 7,859 miles away.
That's a good one.
But so that was the beginning. Then Black Lives Matter protests, like belittle protesting again. All the LGBTQ plus AI protests, I think, are again, you start to get the protest fatigue, and then Extinction Rebellion hammered it home. They hammered it home that these groups are fucking retarded, because you have people that couldn't get to work because they were gluing themselves to the ground. You had people putting people in danger because you can't get ambulances and stuff through. Yeah. Then you've got them going into fucking random fucking galleries and trying to destroy fucking priceless paintings with tomato soup. I'm 100% believe that was to make sure that when something is worth protesting, like let's say what might end up happening in the UK because of mass immigration and illegal immigration, when something is worth protesting, people are going to be so fatigued by it they won't take it seriously anymore.
To be honest, I think these people that glue themselves into roads and then destroy priceless artwork, I think these people are just fundamentally retarded and they've got mental illness. Like,
no, I think you're right. I think you're right, but it's who's using them. They are just the pawns in somebody else's game. So all you need is like you need like charismatic. I wouldn't even say leader, but like a collector of people.
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg's a good one. Who's the other whopper that was involved with them? He went to prison for a little bit, didn't he? The guy with the beard.
Yeah, there was another girl as well. She looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
she's dropped out of the flipping Mars attack or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's a few of them.
as long as you've got a couple of people within the movement that kind of know what's what, they're getting the right checks from the right people. You know, they're probably
Obviously.
familiar with fucking the Soros signature, like on a check now and again. Um, all you need to do is make sure they go to the right, they hang in the right circles, they go to the right universities, they speak to the right people. It would be easy to do. I think I could do it. I think if
Yeah.
you give me a mission, like it was like you need to go and get yourself like a load of fucking radical left wing communists to protest something. I think I could infiltrate that, say the right things, and get myself a little gang that was willing to glue themselves to the ground. I think it would be incredibly fucking easy to do.
Yeah, I mean that demographic are just so socially engineered. I mean, okay, for instance, Greta Thunberg, she's paid by George Soros, so she's getting. I mean, let's face it, none of these people work. Okay, none of these people have jobs. They've never been employed in their life. They don't know the meaning of hard work, but they proclaim themselves to be victims at the same time. I think at this point, you make a really good point why it's demonizing protests. But now people are looking at these demographic of people and going, "Oh, these people are just like mentally ill." For instance, I understand your point of view that protest is pointless because nothing gets done. Nothing really, truly gets done.
I think it's
But
pointless right now, but
everyone's
it's
fatigued, man. We're at
the
fatigue
thing.
time.
The thing is, right? People will drive around protests now. I can remember when I went to when I went to college, we did a trip to a English college, and there was a strike on at the college we were visiting, because of like teacher salary and stuff like that. And the teachers that were in the van that were driving us there, like pulled in and spoke to the picket line that was there. Like, look, we wouldn't fucking cross a picket line, but we kind of need to take these pricks somewhere because they've got to go somewhere, so they're gonna have to go in that building.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And I think there was a lot more respect for that don't cross a picket line
Okay.
back then. And that's not even a huge amount of time ago. You're talking like what? Just over half just over half my life ago. That feels like a change to me. That feels like that's where it's the roll of the eyes now. It's like, oh, what now?
Yeah, this is because there's so many protests, so many strikes going on. I think everyone's, especially this is going for England. You know, we're in an absolute fucking state that it is in. Is the amount of people that says, "Oh, I don't see nothing wrong with it." I'm like, just want to throw a trash can at these people. It's like, come on, how can you not see what's going on? Immigration's one of them. I mean, my God. I mean, Twitter is like one of the worst place, but at the same time, it's kept in the loop. You know, Concerned Citizen on Twitter always
Yes.
posts something that is. You wake up in the morning and it just makes you depressed because you are basically seeing the ugly side of England. But going back to the protests, I understand your point of view.
And then how much of that is actually like level fact? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You get that stuff because that's the I can't remember who the quote was from. It was Dave that I remember saying it. That if you read something and it causes it causes an emotional response in you, you need to ask yourself why, because whoever's written that wrote it to cause an emotional response in you.
This, I don't mean pointing fingers, but that Concerned Citizen on Twitter is a prime example. I don't think he's a real person because he never responds he or she, or might be a bloody bot, never responds to anything that's critical thinking.
Have you tried a they them?
It's just the way you said it. It's just like, but it really is pumping fear. And I'm thinking, going back to the topic, what I was talking in the beginning, is this person controlled opposition? Is this person putting out misinformation, obviously about chemtrails and stuff like that, is unbelievable. To really push the community in a different direction, keep them in fear. And that's the prime thing that I've noticed. It's, should we trust these people? Should I trust this TikTok account I have to admit, he just posts good stuff to a certain degree.
You've got to go a step higher then as well, because if that's the case, then you're I mean, I have my concerns about Ian Carroll anyway, even though I kind of quite like the guy. I do find there's something. So like, how did in amongst the in a time where it's really hard to like break through doing conspiracy stuff, you can do it, and you can be out there saying do what you want. I remember the Elon Musk tweet? No, Elon
Sounds like
Musk
me.
tweet, yeah. About how when it comes to censorship on X, people aren't censored, but there is a right to free speech doesn't necessarily guarantee a right of reach. I think there's a lot of that. I was only like us still, like we seem to have like people following our X all the time. We have reasonably, like, for a small podcast, we have reasonably good interaction with people. We never seem to be able to break fucking 5,600 like follows, and that shot up from like when I took that off Ollie. I think we had under 1,000 followers, and I like just because I tweet that instantly jumped up to like 2,900, and then it stalled out of 3, and it's dragged its way to like 3,500 and something. So how, and don't get me wrong, maybe Ian Carroll is just fucking, I mean, he is hyper charismatic. He is, he's a very incredibly intelligent. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not charismatic enough. I'm not intelligent enough to get, like, to break through. And you know what? If that's the case, I'm fucking good with that. That's fine. We don't all need to be the best in the world. Some of us just need to be the best in the room we're in. Exactly. But I do find it wild how he exploded. Like, he came from nowhere and went from nothing to like Alex Jones level known conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
In under a year. That was weird.
I've noticed that with like YouTube UFO channels. So some of them have been set up for the past like 5 months, and they've now tripled the amount of subscribers on Alien Addict. Alien Addict is growing, but it's so slow.
Yeah, we probably fucked that back in the COVID day, to be honest. There's probably still a few blocks on that.
I'm going to be honest, it's primarily me. Honestly, I can't shut my mouth. And I try to move away conspiracies, but the thing is, when you've got chat going, they talk about it, and it gets me going, and you're interacting with chat, and you mentioned bloody chemtrails and Epstein files, and it's all the key words. We're talking about YouTube here, but with Spotify is different. But I have noticed with these new channels, they get like massive amounts of views. And you think, where the hell did they get these views from?
Saying that, though, doesn't stop people like fucking Danny Jones, does it? Danny Jones kills it on YouTube.
Oh, my God. Yeah. How many subscribers he's got now? He's got, I think, a couple of million, isn't he?
A couple of million now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, I have to admit, he does have some sort of intellect and intelligence behind his questioning.
I fucking love his podcast. Like, he is one of the ones I check regularly now, and he's like he's one of the ones I check regularly, and he's one of the ones I check to go, who have you got on, because I might want them too.
yeah, exactly. I think he does a good job, and if you get the interaction from people, I mean, for instance, I've been watching the X-Files. I'm on season 2 at the moment, and David Duchovny, he's got his own podcast, and he's getting like, obviously he's got traction, so obviously he's going to get millions of views, and even like thousands of views.
What's his podcast about? Is it about UFOs and aliens?
No, he actually had the creator of X-Files on the show. I tell you what, I think it's called
Steve Carter.
No, it's Chris Carter, isn't it?
Chris Carter.
Hold on. Yeah, I'll grab it here, but it's quite good. He had Robert Downey Jr. on there. It's called Failed Better with David Duchovny. Fail Better by David Duchovny. He had Robert Downey Jr. on there. He's just started off. But yeah, no, it's a good podcast. But you think, how do these people get views? They must be paid. They must pay something. For instance, going back to like chemtrails, there's a documentary called The Dimming. You heard about this? The Dimming?
Yeah, I've watched most of it, if not all of it, I think.
How does a chemtrail video get 22 million views on YouTube? Think about that. 22 million views, Lee.
It has been out for 5 years.
22 million views about chemtrails on YouTube.
Really good.
Misinformation.
But this, but you say that though. But hang on, because there's a lot of people in the world for a start.
Yeah, sure.
But however, I'm into this stuff. I only found out about that documentary about 3 weeks ago.
22 million views, and you haven't even seen it. That's a lot.
No,
Lee.
no, but
a lot.
that's what I mean.
It doesn't
But
make
if
sense.
it can go unnoticed by me for that length of time, see, I think you can find stuff like I've noticed now that YouTube is getting much better recommending stuff to me. Like it recommends stuff. So again, I do, but I think that's. Do I necessarily trust what Elon Musk has done with X, and do I trust Elon Musk like 100%? Absolutely not. But I do trust shareholders, because shareholders only care about what their checks are when they hit the ground. And if you've got a platform saying that we will offer easier reach, then shareholders are going to be turning around to Google and saying, we want to make sure that we're competing with these people and we're not getting left behind. And I think that's the change in YouTube, because there's 100% a change in it. Like, we haven't had a single flag on our YouTube channel uploading these videos to it. Not a single, not a warning, not like not sure about this. Maybe you want to trim 12 minutes out of that one. Like, nothing. I mean, let's be perfectly honest though. Like the YouTube channel, people can go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's a Daily Conspiracy Podcast over on YouTube. We upload the videos to these podcasts 24 hours after the patrons see them. If we're monetized, I think it'll be interesting to see how many green monetization things we get for it, because we're not the channel's not monetized at the moment. But however, my old YouTube channel wasn't monetized, and I got fucking community guideline to fuck for less than we do on this show now.
Wow, it's the same with my Cosmic Twilight. It's when we have a channel, I've got 2 community guideline strikes, all to do with the vaccine. Whilst there's other people talking about even like the same video that I used it from on YouTube and find it, but I get community guideline, and apparently to get the strikes off, I have to do like a course. I still haven't fucking done it, and that was like last year, actually 2 years ago. So
that's amazing.
It's like rules for thee and not for me. I've noticed that. Do you know what? I'm quite surprised you haven't got flagged.
Nothing.
Stuff you talk about.
No issue. Like,
yeah, but is it public or listed? No, it's public, isn't it?
No, it doesn't matter, because they still, even if you unlist a video, it still goes through the same checks before you click public or unlist.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it still goes through the content filters.
There was one guy I couldn't find for ages, and his name was Rick Clay, who's an alternative researcher back in like 2007 and 8, and couldn't find any of his videos. But now you go on YouTube and it'll be like the first thing that pops up, which is quite unusual. It wasn't used to be. So I understand your point of view, but if I talk about the vaccine on my Cosmic Twilight channel, I guarantee I'm going to get a community guideline strike. Like, oh, you can't say that. Yeah, it's like I said, like rules for thee and not for me. It's
I mean, we've definitely said in this podcast, you're like, people shouldn't have took the vaccines and they're killing people. Like, you could not have said that a few years ago.
Oh God, no! You can't even mention the word COVID. You know, I think where is when I look at people as a whole, I think people are in like massive decline. There seems to be some sort of shift in people, like common sense. I think COVID did like a massive number on people. But I personally think if you look before social media, for instance, how long have you been in the alternative movement for, Lee? 2007, 8, around about that. So it's been like 17 years ago. It's the same sort of time when me and you watched David Icke.
I mean,
because you said
it would have been about that.
Because you mentioned about you would watch David Icke going around London.
It was pre-2012.
Yeah, pre-2012.
I mean, and like I'm sure anyone that's like anti-conspiracy theorist would have gone, yeah, well, this is why. No, it would have been before that. It would have been pre like internet being widely available. The first time I got into anything like this was, obviously I enjoyed X-Files like any sane person did that's in their 40s. because you were just I was right at the target age where it was fucking scary as shit, but I was still allowed to watch it. And then I went to college when I was 17. Maybe I'd hit 18. Maybe I was 18 when I went to college. I was 17 or 18. And that first year at college, something was said about the moon landing, and my college lecturer didn't believe we went to the moon, and he gave me on VHS tape a funny thing happened on the way to the moon to watch.
So is this pre-YouTube then?
Yes, yeah, pre-YouTube.
Right.
And that was I remember going home watching that and going, fuck me. Because it's one of the reasons why it was so cool interviewing Bart Sabrell, because like there's a good chance without watching his documentary, I'm not doing this. I'm like on my fucking 8th jab. I'm wondering why half my face is slidey.
Yeah, make a good point. So yeah, you've been in it for quite a while now.
Yep, think so.
So we're talking about MySpace time. So 2007 is where Facebook, and I think 2009 is where Twitter came out.
Yeah.
You think that community back then, compared to what it is now, yes, we can share a lot of information, but there seems to be a pretty much decline in just like even like common sense.
Yeah,
everyone's arguing with each other, but one would argue every single demographic's doing that. No matter if you're left or right, everyone's like this. So I was thinking today, it's like, what was the point where people started to lose their shit? Was it COVID? After COVID? That was a big part of it. But was it beforehand? Why are people like it now? It's such a difficult one. I think social media has a dramatic effect.
I think you're right. But I think it's too. I think there's two factors to it. I think social media might have been an accelerant, and if not accelerant, certainly a good bedfellow of this. I think a lot of it came from because you can't blame social media on the distrust that came towards the government from like the Iraq War, weapons of mass destruction. You know, that we were pre social media then. I believe that those things in particular in our current timeline were the beginnings, the bedrock of the falling trust in governmental structures and institutions. I think there's been huge things like you want to talk about falling trust in institutions, that you only have to look at COVID. Like that fucking, if there was any embers there, that fucking blew them the motherfucker away. Like that was it, they were gone. But I think what you have is the rise of like tribal populism, and but whenever we think of populism, we only think of politics. You know, it's like Trump is a populist leader, or Nigel Farage is a populist politician. It's not just that. Joe Rogan is a populist media commentator. So its populism has risen across the board of stuff we consume. I think that's probably because with populism, you attach because I see like we'll take Joe Rogan as a perfect example for it, because I see a person that I can identify traits in myself with him, and then I can identify traits that I would like to have in myself with him. Then I instantly put part of my identity onto that particular vehicle. And that's when people like sink the hooks in. It's like all of a sudden, it's not like people turn around and say, yeah, well, Joe Rogan took horse paste. It's like, no, because when they're saying Joe Rogan took horse paste, they're saying I was taking a horse paste because I identify with that guy.
Yeah,
I think that's where this fractured structures come from.
That's right. Yeah, I think you make a good point there, because when I talk to someone about Joe Rogan, I says, "Oh, I listen to Joe Rogan," and the guy replies, "Oh, is he that far right extremist?" It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I was like, I told him a fucking idiot. So first of all, he's not a far right extremist that says
No.
you've just regurgitated what you heard because some bloody twat waffle said on the news anchor channel. But you are right. You are being pushed down this demographic. Oh, you listen to Joe Rogan? Oh, well, you're far right then. It's like, no, I prefer to listen to Joe Rogan because it's more on point.
I think that's a good point, actually, what you just made there. Is it's not just necessarily even a case of people putting themselves on teams. I think 9 times out of 10, the opposing teams, anyone that's like lost in the middle, gets funneled into teams by people, usually by force. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. This is it. This is a very common trend. Everyone's been pushed down different avenues, different categories, and we're split apart. And we shouldn't be like that. It was never like that back when we were kids.
I have people. There might be people listening to this podcast that I know who I'm talking about, so I'm not going to drop names in because I'm a gentleman. No, there's no point.
That's fine.
I fell out with people where I live because of my stance on the trans women aren't women, trans men aren't men. That's you can put as many costumes on as you want, but that's I can put a cat costume on my dog. He's still a dog.
Yeah.
And so people have fell out with me over that. Some of the people that fell out with me, I have literally done like charity fucking pride gigs for the LGB side of things at the time.
Yeah.
For them because like in my old bands. But like because so all that shit you've done up to that point, fucking sound. But you've disagreed with me on one thing. Get out. We can't talk anymore. That's fucking what. And don't get me wrong. Do not cry for Lee Argentina. Like I am more than happy with the outcome of this scenario. It has made it made it very easy for me to go, okay, I've never looked at this as a battleground before, but if it's a battleground, fuck you. I've got the louder voice. I've got the more people listening. We'll see who wins this war. But the it was a strange thing that when that happened, I thought this was something that happened to like other people. I thought the people that were around me, okay, well maybe we disagree about this, that, and the other, but I thought realistically everyone kind of knows that like the soul be pure in everybody, and we can probably get over these things with oh no, like these are indoctrinated people, regardless of how long I've known them for.
Me and my missus, we had a friend who was like head of the LGBT community. Not mention he or she or them or that. Fuck that. I can't stand those pronouns. It just made it too confusing. And this person we were good friends with, and he was an asexual. So you know what asexual is? Basically, you don't have any sexual desires.
Yeah.
For
we used to just call them like serial killers in waiting.
Yeah, exactly. In one way of putting it. But this person was an asexual. But said to me, basically, that he would love to eat my ass out. And then I go, wait a minute. I was like, I thought you were an asexual. He goes, no, I'm a grey asexual. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
He should have said, yeah, sounds pretty gay to me.
Honestly, Lee, I was there. I was like, what the fuck is this? And he was talking about furries. And it was so alien to me. I'm like, you believe this stuff? And then
so what he's actually saying is like I'm a hedonist. I am fucking
narcissist.
A narcissist. I like the debauchery is off the fucking scales, but I'm saying I'm asexual because it's kind of like a disguise. Because like
also,
it's like I've no sexual desires, but I'd still finger a chipmunk. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hiding something that I check that's a hard drive to check, like 100%.
Yeah, honestly, and this person was married to another asexual, so obviously they never had sex. They just cuddle shit. What the fuck? I really don't understand it. I just don't understand the concept. Yeah, I understand you, mate. And we haven't spoken to this person in years because me and the missus would go, "What the fuck is wrong with this person?" But he become really aggressive. He was interviewed on the TV because this is the person that goes around schools and telling all this stuff. And that's like a big, yeah. I'm not naming who this person is. I haven't spoken to him in years or know anything about him, what he's done since. But the whole concept of what he was coming across just makes no sense. Now, if you questioned him,
one of these days, one of these fucking, I don't even know what to call them, fucking retards
mentally ill.
overused now, is going to try some of this shit with my child, and it's not going to work out well for anybody. Like nobody's going to win from this scenario. Not me, not him, not the fucking floor.
Well, if I look at my nephew's he's coming up about 17, 18, and I spoke to him last month, and I haven't seen him in years, so he's gone through college and all that. I says, right, what is it like in college? Is
Penis, boys or girls?
Yeah, exactly. That is even he is so intelligent. He is common sense for a 17-year-old. I have to admit, he's going to be very high up there in like education and all that. He's very clued on, but he thinks in common sense. Vast majority of people don't believe it. We're talking about teenagers here. They just don't believe it. I think it's a very small demographic, but you must believe in that, Lee. You must believe that boys can be girls and men can have penises. Women can have penises and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's a large vocal minority of people which are supporting this stuff vehemently. I think there is a reasonable chunk of people which go along with it because of either for two reasons: either fear of being outcast or
rejection.
Or just wanting to be like someone says, someone's convinced them this is the kind thing to do, and they are following the kind train. It's like, okay, if this is the nice thing to say, I'm gonna say the nice thing without putting the mental fucking thought into exactly what they're backing. Most other people don't get it, but this is why I was saying last night on the podcast about Labour in the UK, like opening the vote up to 16-year-olds. I think that might be another. God, sorry, I have to burp again. Pardon me. I think that might be another indication of a political party that is out of sync with the feelings, thoughts, and wants of their community and voter base. Because the thing is, I think they are looking at the youth vote, but the youth vote is 25 to fucking 35-year-old fucking communists. And they're not, they're the ones with the fucking hammer and sickle. They're the ones with the Antifa flag, stuff like that. And I think they're already out of touch because you can't have. I think it's the duty of youth to rage against the machine, regardless. And to a certain extent, that's one of the ways I even champion the progressive left, is because in a way they are like, what's come before them was conservative, so they've gone fucking left wing, regardless of how fucking retarded they are about it, because they're just raging against what came before them. So if you've got 20, 30-year-old progressive teachers, they are not going to, regardless of what like the media tells you. This is why I don't think schools are a particularly good place for indoctrination, is because nobody when they're fucking 13, like 12, 13, like anyway, that's that age where you just start to get a bit froggy, a bit fucking angsty.
Yeah, sure.
No one's ever listened to a grown up. So if you've got a fucking far left, pink haired, fucking bull nose ringed geography teacher that's telling you that fucking Germany is a fucking cultural concept, then your teenagers are going to be like, no, you can fuck right off. They're not going to have it. Naturally, the next generation will take a right wing standpoint if the current orthodoxy is like left wing.
Okay. I understand your point of view with that. You got to think about the demographic who is actually these. Obviously, the age we're talking about here of voting was 16, isn't it?
Yes.
If you look at the demographic, are most likely swindled. Everyone has mental health these days. I don't know what people, the school children are like in school. I have no idea, especially teenagers. They probably go through a lot worse than what we went through. Also with social media and all that. So you're going to get the demographic are just like fucking just, those people that are like loners. Like loners in school, you can see they're a bit of an outcast. Now they've got a demographic that comes along, for instance, the LGBTQ community, and start being friendly with this person who is an outcast. They'll come join our group.
I think so, yeah, but you definitely you're still talking about minorities there, aren't you? You're not talking about a needle moving population.
Okay, yeah, sure. But in one way, it's one way of indoctrinating people, and due to the voting age going up to down to 16. And you are dealing with a demographic that don't really know what they're talking about, or because they're told that you must vote, because they like to be told, oh, trust the government, take your vaccine and stuff like that. They don't know how to critically think. And that's where it gets extremely dangerous. Because I'm telling you something now, Labour are going to get in next election.
I don't think it will.
They will. Trust me, that it's not going to go the way you think. Shit is going to hit the fan. Trust me.
Labour I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like we are in for a funny time, but I think Reform will get in, or whatever that whatever guys that comes, or even if Farage are still there. So like I still there's still like we're on season 2 of Lost at the minute as far as British politics goes. Like there's a long way for things to change here. But I'm not so sure. Like, let's not forget here that everything Labour have done has been wrong. Like everything. I do. So
against the government.
I take it very hard. Like, I take it very hard to try and believe that they're going to do something right for themselves. Because every decision has been like off, and whenever you get the left at the minute trying to like embrace like the next culture, they don't have anybody charismatic enough to do it. They wheel out a fucking Owen Jones. They wheel out a fucking Harry Sissons is his name in the US. They wheel out these people which are fundamentally unlikable, and this is, like I said, this is where I think they've lost what youth is, because those people that they think this is going to get the young people on board, what it actually does it's just part of the base they already have. Greta Thunberg didn't do what she was supposed to do to the youth. There's a way to think about it.
Well, she did it one way.
She didn't turn children into eco warriors, and that was her job.
I think some of it's been rubbed off on a lot of people, because especially the young generation says, "Oh, we're going to die in 10 years. Trust me, trust the science." Depending on the parenting, it's a tricky one, mate. Probably a very small percentage that believe in this shit. I think a vast majority of people within time, like we've been hearing about climate change for donkey's years.
Yeah.
And now when you really look at it, you go, well, nothing's really changed. We've had torrential rain, we had flooding, we've had bloody heat waves that last couple of days. Heat waves used to last like a couple of weeks, remember, when I was a kid, and now it's like a couple of days. It's different.
Yeah.
So again,
it's summers, even in my shorter life, the of what was it, not shorter life, mid of life, over mid of life. But when I was like 20 years old and I was a decorator, we had 2 lots of gear. We had 2 lots of stuff. We had inside stuff. We had outside stuff. When we got out of winter, we'd take all the stuff out of the vans. We'd load it all up with all the outside gear. We would do outsides like up until fucking winter, right up to the line, and then we'd get the inside stuff in, and we start doing insides again. You can't do that anymore. As a self-employed decorator, I stopped doing outside work because you would take outside work on, and you couldn't guarantee like a block 3 weeks of decent weather to finish it. Like that's one job. Like I'm one person. That's one job. I can get people coming to help me now and again, but that's one thing. When I was working for other people when I was younger, before I was self-employed, we would fucking knock off like 10, fucking 15 outsides in a summer.
It goes to show, isn't it?
So yeah, don't like anyone that tells me that that the climate's got warmer and drier. They don't spend enough time outside. They don't spend any time working outside.
You're perfect on that, because I'm a gardener by trade. I've been doing it over 10 years, and I know this. We don't have seasons in England. This is the whole concept, is that we have winter.
No, we're just rainy. We're just damp now.
Fucking wait, yeah, this is it. Yeah. And when I explain why do we have change of weather, it's like, look, we have a jet stream that goes right across England. That's where it goes. And then sometimes when it goes up north, it gets all the warm air, the high pressure from Africa. This is why we had the heat wave for a couple of days. And then if it goes down south, we get all the cold air from Russia and Antarctica, or stuff like that. Basically, the North Pole, basically what I'm talking about. So this is how if you understand the basic concept of how weather changes, all you've got to do is just to go on a satellite, look at the jet stream, and look at how high and low pressure goes, and you can basically make a prediction of what the weather can be. Or just fucking go outside and look up. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, but for me as a gardener who's been doing this for over 10 years, the summers have always been shit. I asked my nan, she's been in this planet 89 years. I said, Nan, have we had a decent summer? She says, it's always been shit. Okay, we might have 1 year where it might be hot for a week and all that, but it never used to be like it was years ago. I mean, for instance, 1974, it was 35, well, it was around about over 30 degrees for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
And the BBC and other news outlets said, no, that never happened. But the public was going, and this is the thing why people don't believe in mainstream media, especially BBC, because they just gaslighting people. You lied to the public saying that this event did not happen, where it clearly did. But that wasn't blamed on flipping CO2 and climate change.
See,
you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say something off the dome here. So if it's misinformation, I fucking apologize. But it's not. I'm not lying to you. It's what I think to be true. I'm reasonably convinced that when we started talking about like global temperatures and like what's the hottest temperature on Earth, right? Regardless of the fact that actual like temperature reading in general over large distances is fucking sketchy at best, and it's taken a lot of different like temperatures and going, we'll go with this one.
The highest temperature, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
but at some point, the way we used to measure temperature was ambient temperature. That was always the what measurement would use. Like if it's fucking 25 degree outside, it's because it's 25 degrees ambient.
Is that in the shade? Is that what you're talking about? Is they take it in the shade or the direct sunlight?
I know. I think ambient is like what's around you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So, and at some point for taking these like extreme readings we've got, like I think the highest temperature recorded was in India somewhere, but they changed the way they measured temperature and started measuring it on ground temperature. That is like me turning around and saying, my house is 250 degrees. No, it's not, Lee. It is. I took my reading in the oven. It's fucking crazy.
It's like I put my thermometer in the kettle and I click boil.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's so stupid.
Time to open a window.
Anything that comes out about weather from the mainstream media, it's all bullshit. It's obviously now it's clearly it's been exaggerated completely. I mean, we've been tracking weather and temperatures for the past 250 years. What about the 6 billion years? I mean, we know from ice core samples that. Do you remember the ice core samples? Yeah. You ever heard about that?
Yeah.
When they took it out, they can measure the amount of CO2. It was past 100,000 years. And you see there's a correlation between CO2 and temperature. And CO2 was a lot more than it was, 100,000 years ago compared to what it is now. I mean, look at volcanoes produce double the amount of CO2 we produce. The oceans produce 10 times the amount of CO2. I mean, no one talks about that, and 7% of the ocean around the planet.
Here's a question then. Because I'm with you, like I'm down. Believe it, like 100% Lee is 100% with Nick. But why then? why do people like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, people say, oh, it's for control. Okay, but there's different ways to control people. I said this last night. I still think the best time that the elites had control over is when we were all happy.
Yeah.
Why did they seem to believe this?
It's a bit like, right, we've got to treat this a bit like COVID. COVID was a massive psychological operation. Obviously, it was to make money, but obviously, it was like a test to see how far the public will go. And I treat COVID as a bit like the same tactics as climate change. In a way, it is for control, because if you look at the outcome of what's supposed to happen, especially in this country, 50-minute cities, can't drive a car, you have to go electric, be stuck in like your own zones, you can't travel. That's all to do with control, isn't it? When you look at it, the broader aspect of it is all to do with control. In England, it's different to what it is in America. I think we're more controllable when it comes to climate change, because they're pointing at something and says, oh, obviously CO2, so we need to restrict your ability to travel, for instance, which is all around the corner, isn't it? Especially like 50-minute cities. I think time will tell. I think it's a bit like they're doing like slow little drips, Lee. They're like, oh, let's ban petrol cars and see how that goes, and see how the public reacts. And if they don't go with that, then they'll ban boilers. And then if they go with that, oh, we'll ban gas ovens. And I think it's like a slow drip to what's the overall outcome, which is all about control, in my opinion. But I think there's many different ways of controlling people. But I think I treat it as a bit like a test as well. How far can they push this agenda? Because it is an agenda, and its thing is, Lee, it's global.
Oh, it's ultranational cooperation, because
I mean, put it this way: if Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab knew that there was no such thing as climate change, it was all agenda. If we go by that prospect, why are they spraying chemtrails to block out the sun when they know that that climate change doesn't exist?
Exactly.
It's just makes no sense.
It doesn't
really
make
makes no
sense. See,
So,
I do wonder to myself, like, do you ever wonder like how propagandized we are on
big time.
but not just on stuff that necessarily just affects us.
Okay.
Like what's the temperature in Russia on the UK right now? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then let's not say, because we're supposed to have this open and free internet. Do you know what I mean? Where like the West is free. We can say what we want. We can find out information from places.
And get
So
arrested for it. Yeah.
what's the alternate media temperature on the UK in Russia? What's the alternative media in China? Is there an alternative media in China? Like, what we get is no, you can't have alternative media in China. But how do we know that? Do you know what I mean? How do we keep hearing these things about there's the social credit scores in China. You can't do this without this, and you can't do that without that. How come there isn't scores of people escaping communist China if that's the case? Because people would turn around and say, "Oh, well, because they can't travel." Well, I beg to fucking differ, because there is no shortage of Chinese people that leave China. There is no shortage of Chinese people that leave China, and and then the wild thing about authoritarian China is all the motherfuckers go home for New Year.
It's true. One of our residents is Chinese couple. Lovely, absolutely lovely. And but if you go to Bath, right? I work a lot in Bath, and a lot of student accommodation. Same with Bristol, where I live. Mate, they're filled with Chinese people. Me and Mrs. went to get a takeaway yesterday, and there was this university, and you can see through it. Everyone was on their computers. I'm not joking. The whole place was like not demographic wise, not being racist, but everyone was bloody Chinese. I said, babe, look at these Chinese people here. You know, it's just like,
but that's
they come here probably for a different education, isn't it? And then they take it back home. I don't know what the whole.
but that's not how you run an authoritarian state.
Good point.
You don't allow people to get foreign educations if you want to be an authoritarian state. North Korea, that shit. That's an authoritarian state. It's like, are you leaving? Oh no, you're not. No visas for you, sir.
So you think there are escaping, knowing that the social credit score? Because
No, I don't.
it's like
I don't. Do you know, straight up, don't believe in the social credit score.
no, it's there. I've seen videos on it.
Yeah, but I've seen videos on it too.
Do you know what? I'll ask our lovely residents because they're from China.
And we
And
look, I know WeChat's a thing. I know WeChat, but this is when I say I don't believe it. I'm just saying I think we should sometimes spend more time asking ourselves how propagandized we are by the West ourselves.
right, okay, good point. Because if you look at TikTok, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, is a Chinese invention, and then the Western civilization took it, and then either there's two ways you can look at it. How TikTok is used now is done on purpose by China to push
Which
the Western civilization.
And let me put this straight. I under no circumstances do I not believe that other countries try and interfere with other countries through electronic methods. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not convinced that our media and press is as free as we like to try and pretend the West is.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. I mean, everyone's talking about bloody free speech in this country, which is absolute flipping nonsense. But go back to TikTok. I think it's really like the Western civilization has took that and it's really split everybody apart, isn't it? But Chinese TikTok is more or less, support your country, join the army, are more family friendly orientated from what I've seen anyway. And if you look at TikTok, where we're looking at it, it's got conspiracies, LGBTQ. You've got.
Do you know what the terrifying thing is? Do you know what the terrifying thing would be with TikTok? The absolute worst thing.
Yeah.
What if it's exactly the same? What if the TikTok algorithm for China is exactly the same as the West, but because that's what we search for and that's what we do, we've created it?
I don't know. I think they got a whole different mentality in China.
Oh no, you're right. But this is what I mean. So what if the reason we get like because the LGBTQ and it's not even LGBT, is it? It's the T, the trans stuff on TikTok and the trans live streams. It's fucking wild, but it's weird because people would say, "Oh, it's propagandizing people." You read the comments because I drop into those live streams sometimes. I don't comment because there's no point. There's no I'm not going to say anything nice, so don't say anything at all.
Sure.
So, but if you read the comments, no motherfucker's saying anything nice. But the trans people that are on this app are essentially making money out of just being targets for abuse. They're monetizing. They're monetizing the ill will towards their section of society. And fucking respect the hustle. If you can sit there for 8 hours straight and be called a fucking freak, then you deserve every fucking penny you make out of that. But yeah, what I mean is, what if it's just us? Like, what if this is the zeitgeist of the West now? The zeitgeist of the West is fucking crazy, fucking LGBTQ plus AI, like into fucking. What's the right word? Where's the words? Like just warfare between fucking different sections of culture. Like it's all I see when I go on TikTok is conspiracy theories. Because guess what? I search a lot of fucking conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah,
I think we make our own algorithms. I think there is less interfering than I think we probably wish there was, because by saying, "Oh, it's interfering," we're just getting we're getting shoveled this, we're getting indoctrinated. It takes all the agency of ourselves out of it. Going, "Oh, well, they're just out to get us, aren't they?" When secretly we're fucking looking for it.
Yeah, can make a good point. I mean, go back to these like content creators that they look for reaction about people. It's like they really want to piss people off because they crave the attention. In one way, it's almost like clickbaiting, trolling, and almost like bullying as well, isn't it? To a certain degree. Who was the guy who went to Florida we talked about last time who dressed up as a woman and he goes into the bathrooms and he he goes to he does plays victim all the time.
Yeah, so he'll do like restaurants and then he'll post the videos where someone comes up and says, "Oh, would you like to order, sir?" and then he'll upload that video. Obviously, he doesn't upload the like 7,000 times that he's been to other restaurants where the staff have either felt compelled to play into his fucking delusions, or they have just like wanted to support the fucking tribe in doing so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're just, it's just clout chasing. Which and
is.
realistically, like there's a certain point to where I have to say, like, I mean, I always hope that I hope the Daily Conspiracy Podcast entertains foremost. I there was times where we've done a few shows where we've left with. I mean, even the recent one we did about the Nibiru one was a bit heavy, but even when we do heavy stuff, I want people to like at least nervously laugh on the way out the door. I never want to leave people sad.
Sure.
And to an extent, like even if it's, I think inform is the wrong word, but at least make people think about different ways and like different avenues of thought than you would get on the mainstream media. It's one of the reasons that there would be no point in getting like a round earth person on, because that's the fucking, that's the, like, people hate some people hate the flat earth episodes we do. But there'd be no point in doing the other side, because the other side's just the fucking accepted opinion. Why would you come to a conspiracy podcast for the accepted opinion? That's not what our fucking job is.
Yeah.
But so I accept that there is a certain amount for this show to be successful and to continue to be successful. There is a certain amount of clout chasing that has to happen, because we need to get the podcast out to more people in order to grow it, in order to do more, in order to do better shows, in order to like upgrade things. It's just the way of the world. So I get what that guy's doing. But there has to be a point where you go, like, you're willfully victimizing other people. I think that's what some of these people are doing.
Yeah, it's craving for attention, but at the same time making money out of it. Out of this, it's not really shock content. It's this, again, with trolls. I understand they want a reaction from you, and this is what these people do. This is it.
But in this, and the same with him though. Like his core demographic, it's like the Jeffrey guy. You know Jeffrey Marsh.
No.
The really fucking freaky trans guy. He looks a bit like Chris Martin. And
oh right, yeah.
He always comes out and says, "I want to speak to the children."
Fucking
and you go,
creep.
Like, no, but let's like, do you know what? Probably not a nonce. Do you know what he is? What he's doing is fucking anger farming, because he knew when he uploaded. He doesn't think when he's uploading that, oh, I'm going to be accepted for this. I'm going to speak to a young youthful audience, and they're going to respect me for what I am, a fucking lunatic. They're just, he knows he's going to get a load of abuse, and with that abuse, it's going to push him up that fucking algorithm.
Yes, and he's going to get more views, therefore more money. It's, I tell you what, as a business tactic, it's quite fucking brilliant when you look at it. You know,
do you know what? If you're brave enough to do it, if you're brave enough to slap a load of fucking eyeliner on, put a girl's blouse on, and say you want to speak to other people's children, fuck me. Wow.
Welcome to 2025. Fucking dystopian time, isn't it, man?
Where's the next step? Yeah. I sometimes think that. Yeah, when I watch TikTok live, sometimes I just flick through it, and you've got like just someone stood there and they're going, and then the trend that went on for a while, you know, where people were acting like the AI things, and they had various phrases they'd say depending on the donations that were given. Do you remember that thing that was
vaguely
going on?
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, people were acting like NPC trend. Sorry, that was an NPC trend.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
I'm looking at this going, this is like the cutoff bit. Remember, like RoboCop, where RoboCop had cut off to like the really weird future adverts.
Yeah.
That's like that. That's the glimpse into dystopia. But that's the future. That's where we are. That's why the people turn around and say, "Oh, it's going to be like 1984." Nah, 1984 was in 2001. You're well behind. We're currently in headed towards a brave new world. On the other side of a brave new world is idiocracy. That's where we're headed.
Good point. Yeah, you would say, yeah, very good point. Because people say,
We're in the
we're
hedonism. We're in the hedonism part of Brave New World right now, and after that is just fucking the era of fucking morality. If that's a word, it should be a word. I like it.
How do we end the podcast on a good note? It's all been
because right, and here's why it's fine. If we can all survive this and get through it, if for anyone that's watched Idiocracy out there, was the planet ran well? No. Were the good decisions? No. Everybody was so retarded they were happy.
I think that was like the 90s. Everyone was happy. We had good music, good TV shows. Everyone was in a state of it was different times, isn't it? It was a different time of control.
Yeah.
I didn't miss those times.
Joe, the best for our British viewers out there, the fucking quintessential thing of the 90s was the fact that Garbage was such a fucking awesome band, and they weren't even fucking C tier music. They were just the band Garbage.
Never heard of them. Never heard of them.
Yeah, you will have done. Yeah, we can talk about this later. But they were fucking awesome, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's just a band, just a band." They weren't fucking up there with the best bands. I miss the 90s.
Everyone does, mate.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah, it's like a different time, man. You know, you compare to like, I think our generation in 50 years' time, if we're still here, we'll be looked at as the last generation that had the freedom. Because I remember the time we had no internet, that last glimpse of freedom before things went to shit. Around about 2001, 9/11, you could say that. But I think really, when social media came in 2016,
2008 was the real thing. I think the financial crash was like even when things bounced back, it was never quite the same.
You're right.
And then social media has just fucking hammered all our fucking dopamine receptors to the point where like we're husks of people.
Oh, you're spot on with that one. Yeah. As Graham Hancock would say, humanity is in a hypnotic state of consciousness, and that is exactly where we are at the moment.
I love that. That's right. I like that a lot.
Thing is, he said that to me in person, and I was like, "Oh God, that really it just stuck," and I still remember it today. I still remember it. So
he's good for some of the things up like that. I've always enjoyed his thing of saying humanity's a culture with amnesia.
I remember it was going back when he came back from Turkey and Iraq. I think it was about a couple of months ago. It was Graham Hancock and Santha. They said, "Oh, could you just drop us back to our home?" So I had Graham Hancock and his wife Santha in the car, and all we talked about was this: how humanity is just going down under. It's not always about ancient Egypt and stuff like that. We talk about like what we're talking about, and you'd be surprised what a conversation you can get out of him. Extreme. So I will do my best to get him on the show for you. I'm pretty sure he owes me a favor anyway. So I'm his gardener for Christ's sake.
Well, cheers, Nick. Thanks. You'll be back on the show with me tomorrow. It'll be another good time, no doubt. I hope everybody is enjoying this like break of having. I don't know, to me and Ollie on. I'm not even going to be nasty to Ollie. I don't mean it to be nasty, but I hope everyone is enjoying the podcast, regardless of the fact if he's on or not. And we're all looking forward to getting him back and all that sort of stuff. Please go and do all of the stuff you normally do for me as far as the patron goes. Right now, if you sign up to, we're only going to do this for a limited time because it was more of a test thing. If you sign up to become a free member on the Patreon, you don't get anything. I don't even understand why there's a fucking free thing. You can't get rid of it. But how we've set it up is if you set yourself up as a free member to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast, you will get an email which should give you a 20% discount for your first month of a paid subscription to Patreon. So if you've been thinking about doing it and you didn't want to do it and you're going to do it, you can have like a couple of shekels off it.
Got any merch?
Please, we do have merch. There's merch in the description of this podcast. There's some fine t-shirts. We also want you to go to the British Podcast Awards and vote for us in the British Podcast Awards. A load of you have been doing it. We've got a deal going with you guys. If you do that and take a screenshot of you voting for us, we will follow you back on social media, and you too can have your very own fucking F-list conspiracy influencer following you. What a time to be alive. What I will request people do is, though, check your emails, because I voted for myself the other day because I'm that type of retard. And I noticed that you just clicking the link doesn't work. You have to follow the email link to make sure that you've confirmed your vote. So if you've gone to the effort of going to the website, you've clicked it, you put our name in and stuff like that, don't let it go to waste. Check your email box and make sure that you confirm that registration. And if you're unsure if you've done it, just fucking vote again. Anyway, apart from that, Nick, you've got nothing on Alien Addict, have you, till the weekend that you want to promote before tomorrow?
Yeah, I've just uploaded the show for Friday. We're going to be talking about the UFO sighting of 1967 and the occult behind that. So it'll be quite interesting. But yeah,
that's fucking ace.
It is. Yeah, we can it's going to be a spicy one. Yeah, all the occult and all that. So yeah, come follow me on Friday on Alien Addicts at 9 p.m.
Awesome sauce. Thanks, Nick. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. See you tomorrow, man.
Bye-bye.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military establishment. And they are not what they claimed to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want those major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.